A treat, buddy? A treat? Yeah, get that treat. That's a good treat. That's a good kitty. Yeah, you were a good cat this semester. Yeah, you helped out a lot in my classes. Yeah, you helped out a lot, buddy. Rest Cure Part 2. So as we said in the first part when I was answering your questions, she starts off with a mental illness, minor, probably coming up, bud? Probably postpartum depression, right? And maybe she should have had a cat to love, right? Animals are very important. And then she gets prescribed the Rest Cure, and her husband is also her doctor, and that's a very bad idea, especially when it comes to mental health. At any rate, you need to understand in this story that it's actually quite simple, even though it's kind of confusing. The story demonstrates that the Rest Cure makes her worse, makes her condition worse. Here are the ways that we see in the story her getting worse. Number one, we're reading her journal and it gets less coherent. It gets harder to understand. The writing gets a little crazier as it goes on. Her mental health is declining. Number two, she becomes nocturnal. She stays up at night, she sleeps during the day, not healthy, not a good sign. Number three, she becomes paranoid. She thinks John and Jenny, same person, John and the nurse, she thinks they can see the figure behind the wallpaper also, even though of course they can't. And she starts to chew on the bed, right? She says at one point the bedstead is fairly gnawed, and then at another point, the bed that's nailed down, she takes a bite out of it. That's a sign you're not doing well mentally if you bite furniture, right? So those are the ways. Chews on the bed, writing becomes less coherent, harder to understand. She becomes paranoid about John and Jenny. She starts to hallucinate the woman behind the wallpaper. I may not have mentioned that one. And what was the other one? Hallucinates John and Jenny. She thinks John and Jenny see the woman behind the wallpaper as well. So those are all, and then of course at the end she's just walking around in circles. So her mental health is deteriorating throughout the story. The story also gives us an accurate picture of the Rest Cure. And let's just list off the things that she is denied, things that are taken from her, what she is not allowed to do. She's not allowed to write except in the secret journal, and she's not allowed to do that. She just is secret. She has a secret journal. And of course our author is an author who's a writer. Authors are writers. Writers like writing. So it's a really big deal when a writer puts writing in a story. So anyway, so the woman is not allowed to write, to work. Writing is maybe her work, we don't know for sure. Her baby is taken away from her. She's removed from her home, right? She's lied to about where she is staying, and she's not allowed to leave her room. So she's denied her home, her family, writing, her liberty, her freedom to even leave the room, has bars on the windows, and she's not allowed to even have family and friends. This is the Rest Cure defined. So this story has a very basic theme. The Rest Cure is bad. The Rest Cure is bad. And Charlotte Perkins Gilman lays out very clearly what the Rest Cure is. No writing, no family, no baby, no house, no friends, no activity, no freedom, no liberty. That's going to make you better. And she clearly shows us that this is having a very negative impact on our narrator. Her writing, her storytelling becomes less coherent. She starts to chew on the furniture. She sees a woman behind the wallpaper. She becomes paranoid about John and Jenny. She becomes nocturnal as well. So very clear story. As confusing as this is, when you read it, you're like, what? It actually has a very clear message. The Rest Cure is bad. And Charlotte Perkins Gilman, she lays it out pretty clearly, pretty carefully. here's what the woman is not allowed to do, and here's the negative effect on her. It's a really well-written story. I mean, it's clear, it's confusing to read, but once you sort of put the clues together, it's very clear. So Charlotte Perkins Gilman, kind of like Edgar Allan Poe, writes the story from someone who's having mental problems. However, as a reader, you're able to see exactly what's going on, even though the narrator, in this case herself, doesn't see what's going on. So it's a really good story. And that wraps it up. You know, it's the end of the semester. I know you have a lot of stuff to do. Hey, Professor Berninger's got your back. Get your paper in if you haven't. Get the essay exam done. And I hope to get grades in very soon, right? Very soon. Do not be late with your work, people. Don't be late. If the due date has passed and I go through your class and do all the grading, I'm submitting the final grades, right? If you haven't submitted it by the time that I do the grades, and hey, that could be Monday, could be maybe not Monday. I think something's due Monday. But if after the due date for the final assignment, after that, hey, I'm proceeding, whether I have your paper or not, okay? And guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you need me, ever, email me. Right? If you need a recommendation, if you've done a good job in my class, you need a recommendation for a scholarship or for to get into another school or even a job, let me know. The other day, a student emailed me who's a journalism major. She needed to interview professors about teaching online in a pandemic. I gave her an interview. Once you're my student, you're always my student. And your success in life is very important to me. So in the future, if there's ever anything I can do to help you be successful in your life, you let me know. I'll be at Columbia Green at least 3 more years, probably longer than that. But find me, I'm around. But thanks for a great semester. Thank you especially to those of you who emailed me when I didn't post things that I was supposed to, and kind of keeping an eye on my own organization. Thank you for that. I'm sorry you had to do that, but I appreciate it very much. And good job, people. Be proud of the work that you did this semester.